Hello and welcome to the Comic Dividers podcast, the only podcast where you can hear people talk about what's new in comics, what's old in comics, what's going on in comics, and just general comics. And that's only if you ignore all the other podcasts that I assume do that as well.
I assume there's many podcasts that do that.
Well,
I think there's only the one.
it's just this one. Don't go tuning out to find out.
You won't find it. You won't find it. Don't Google it. You're good. You're good.
My name is Spuds McGee.
If you're nasty.
And my job here is that I don't read comic books because comics are trash. And with me, as always, is Silkmaster Flex.
That's Alex to everyone else.
And John.
Who is not Silkmaster Flex.
Just
No.
To anyone else.
No one is. Neither am I. This is just how it is now, I guess. All right, today we're going to be talking about Domino #1 by Gail Simone, Action Comics #1000, and from Image we have Skyward #1, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #26.
From Boom Comics.
From Boom Comics.
Boom Comics.
All right. So, John, you read Domino #1. Tell us what Domino #1 is and Gail Simone's glorious return to Marvel Comics.
I mean, the best part about Domino #1 is it didn't depress the hell out of me.
Wait, time out. One, the depressing Gail Simone is best Gail Simone. And
I
two,
mean, we all
who is
remember New
Domino?
52 Batgirl. Come on.
Dude, New 52 Batgirl is the saddest book that's ever existed. Every page.
Why is that a problem?
I mean, John, stray bullets is a thing.
Batgirl. Batgirl's supposed to be light and, I mean, not fluffy, but like, you know, I don't mind if there's a, like, comparison between, like, really depressing and then, like, things happen. You know, and you don't need to, like, give her, you know, Doc Martens and a clip-on cape in order to make her, like, non-depressing.
Well, I mean, I agree. Don't give her Doc Martens and a clip-on cape.
I like the clip-on cape.
The costume looks good, but this is not Stephanie Brown Batgirl we're talking about. This is my girl, Bigords.
Mean Barbara.
Steph Brown Batgirl is awesome. Let's get that out.
Well,
right
yes,
now.
we can all.
I mean,
agree.
we all agree Steph Brown Batgirl is great, but that costume was really meant for her, not Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, I could totally see that happening. It would have been better suited to Steph Brown Batgirl, without a doubt. But at any rate,
We're not
Domino
talking about
#1.
Domino #1.
I mean, it's impossible to talk about Gail Simone without talking about Batgirl.
I mean,
like, that's
it's Gail
just kind of
Simone.
how it goes. But
Or
Domino
Battlestar.
1 is, I mean, it's a great intro to the character. Really hasn't had a ton of shine aside from Liefeld drawing her in X-Force. And then, you know, like the Remender X-Force run, she was kind of around, but only really in the, like, Wolverine side story. You know, she just, like, kind of pops up and, like, does mercenary stuff and then leaves. And, like, you know, sleeps with Warpath.
I mean, does she do that in this issue?
No, but he does show up at her birthday party.
Huh. I mean,
and she doesn't get her some of that birthday sex.
There is literally an entire, like, group of her ex-boyfriends who all look the same and people making references to it. But also, Diamondback is in it.
Diamondback.
Cap's ex-girlfriend Diamondback, like
Diamondback.
former Serpent Society Diamondback, who I have always loved.
Serpent Society, my
No
God.
one has always loved.
Dude, I have literally always loved Diamondback.
Okay,
From the very,
well-
very first comic that got me into comics, which was the Captain America Bloodstone Hunt run, which is when he was dating Diamondback. Or, like, they were palling around.
My intro to
Palin
comic
around.
books is way better. Mark Waid's Earthworm Jim. Come on.
I mean, I just
Everyone remembers Mark Waid's Earthworm Jim.
Did not know
Sure.
that Mark Waid
Sure.
wrote Earthworm Jim until this very moment right now.
Neither did I until we got a copy of Earthworm Jim in at the store. That's the Toy Vault. TheToyVault.com. And then we got an issue, and I was like, "This is Mark flippin' Waid." You know, like who would think that Mark Waid would write Earthworm Jim? How unbecoming. Is that before or after Kingdom Come? Let's find out.
Mark Waid.
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that was probably before he penned
Let's
Kingdom Come.
Let's just think about Mark Waid's career in general. He's written so much. Who's to say that he doesn't every once in a while take a second to write Earthworm Jim?
Just go back to the
or
well
something
of Earthworm
else.
Jim.
Like, Everyone's got to do something that's not
Dude,
so
writing Earthworm
mainstream.
Jim is a step above writing the Hostess fucking Fruit Pies ads. Like,
I mean, there were some pretty good ads.
no, they weren't.
Yeah, you're right. No,
they
they're
just
terrible.
threw fruit pies
They were
at
terrible.
supervillains for like 20 years.
But Domino number 1, what happened in that issue? There's gonna be spoilers throughout this entire thing. We can't sit here and talk about comics without not talking about what happened. So if you're not liking any spoilers, if you don't want to deal with that, you want spoiler free,
Pick up the comics. Go
pick up the
read
comic
comics,
and read,
man.
and then
come
join
back.
us. Come back and join us.
So
Or
Domino is doing
No, please do.
Domino is doing mercenary stuff and is working with Outlaw, who is the lady from the Agent X, like kind of Deadpool weirdness run,
No.
with like the cowboy hat and like the bikini top,
Yeah.
like a girl Crocodile Dundee with no like shark teeth,
That's not a knife.
or I guess crocodile teeth would probably make more sense.
Also, side note, real quick, I have to make an addendum.
Mark Waid did not write Earthworm
Mark
Jim.
Waid did not write Earthworm Jim. Apparently,
Boo.
it was Dan Slott.
Dan Slott. I mean, when you write Spidey for what, 2 decades?
Yeah, 25
I mean,
years
come
straight.
on.
He
Like-
just needed to write some other sort of insect.
I mean, he's doing the new Invincible Iron Man run after he's done with Spidey.
This is the
good,
issue.
because somebody needs to.
That's the
I mean,
that's
Bendis
the one.
is gone, so.
Everybody, look at your computer screens or your
Yeah, that is-
cell phone. You can see it now.
Is that a Liefeld cover? Got some pouches?
It's
Oh my
Earthworm Jim number 2.
No. You can see his feet.
Hmm?
It's not Liefeld.
Yeah, but they're not. They are triangles.
I mean,
He's got-
true.
He's got the
You're right,
Liefeld
you're right.
triangle feet, man.
Oh my god.
So Domino doing mercenary stuff, palling around with Outlaw and Diamondback, and then they throw her a surprise birthday party. It's fantastic.
How much Deadpool is in this issue?
Exactly 2 conversations, and one of them is about how happy Domino is that Deadpool went out and hired Dazzler to perform at her birthday party.
Whoa!
Dazzler!
My point,
Oh.
man. Domino 1 is rad.
All
like,
right.
Oh, all right. So if you haven't read Domino 1, or if you're planning on reading it, it's gonna be good, guys.
I really wish I read comic books.
I mean, it would probably be helpful.
It would very much be helpful. Next up, Skyward number 1. This is a new book by Image Comics, written by Joe Henderson, art by Lee Garbett? Don't.
Garbett.
I don't know. I've only read it. I've never heard it spoken out loud before. If someone wants to correct me, feel free. But Skyward number 1. I thought it was pretty interesting. I like the concept, the fact that the gravity is no longer there or is super light, so people now fly.
It's zero gravity.
Well, I mean, they don't
There's
fly,
some
they
gravity.
float.
There's none gravity.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point. is
That's
that
how she
there's-
doesn't die when she cracks her head on the ground. Also, let me just say that I really appreciate at least in this first issue, the Mirror's Edge-esque.
It was
feel.
very much Mirror's Edge-esque.
Well, yeah, because like she's I don't know how illegal this delivery service is. I assume not.
I mean, considering the fact that she's delivering like
I
milk,
mean-
milk to children, I would assume it's
I mean,
probably not.
You don't know. Milk might be outlawed in
I
this
mean-
future. It might be like so scarce.
Imagine how hard it is to milk a cow in zero gravity.
I mean, imagine how hard it is to make deliveries in zero gravity. Like,
I've
you gotta
never-
change how you do everything
I've
just
never
to deliver
milked
the
a
mail.
cow in not zero gravity, which I assume isn't very easy either. So
I mean, it seems like it would be very.
I mean,
very
I've never
hard.
milked a cow before, but I assume it's very hard.
was it one udder? That's a reference to the new Power Rangers movie.
Yes, we know.
Oh yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
She shouldn't be angry because I just milked her.
Him.
Which
You
was
milked
very
him.
much of a departure.
I
that joke stymied me at the beginning of that movie.
that whole intro was just
Really?
weird.
Where-
We got a masturbation joke right in the middle, and
like
then
a
we
cow
had
masturbation.
a
joke
cow
right in the
masturbation joke.
movie.
Let
In like the
alone.
first 30 seconds of the movie.
Cow
like, talking about-
masturbation is important, okay?
No, it's
because
not.
it's dangerous to breed cows sometimes.
No,
What?
it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not.
I'm pretty sure they just do it themselves. I don't know.
They're
like,
cows.
They're not horses. All right.
Anyways, so like back to Skyward, the point of the discussion, not cow dicks, is
Is it though? Is it really?
I don't know. I just like appreciate that one guy. What's his name? Edison.
The dude with no legs.
The dude with no legs. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in a world without gravity, the man with no legs is king.
I mean,
or
I don't.
just like a regular.
I wouldn't say he's king, but I assume he's just like everyone else now.
Well, I mean, he already was.
Yes, he was, but at least
But
now
like,
everyone has the same mobility.
It's just like an interesting concept.
Also,
he's apparently super old, according to her, because she's a jerk.
I mean,
And
I mean,
bad at
she's
flirting.
like
30.
what, 18, almost
is-
19.
She is 20. It says 20 years later,
Fine,
right here
fine.
on this
Yeah.
beautiful splash.
It's a pretty beautiful splash.
20 is still a young age. All right, come on.
Can we
Anyone
also-
older than themselves at 20 is way too old.
Can we also discuss the oddity of her wearing track shoes?
I mean, you gotta have
You
that
are
comfort.
literally flying everywhere.
You gotta have that comfort when you kick off.
Well,
from
yeah,
places.
no, you got to kick off of random stuff, so it's
I
got to
mean,
be
I
like.
guess.
You gotta
Like,
land
so-
places too.
So, like, realistically, you'd want like just like super thick soles, so that way you can just. I guess with zero gravity, there's not really much friction when you hit the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
So, like, I guess it doesn't
why
matter.
would you not just
I mean,
be like
there
bobbing
is-
When you
around
push
and, like,
off of nails.
I mean, there
penny
is enough friction when you
loafers
use
or
a
something.
gun to propel yourself at the speed a gun shoots a bullet.
First off,
Fast.
that's one of the best scenes in this entire
It was
comic,
so
is
good. It was
the-
so unexpected. Just
And
those two guys
absolutely
jumping out,
great.
mugging her in zero G with a knife.
Yeah.
Like, that's some pretty daring moves right there. And then she just pulls out the gun and uses it to
which I think is absolutely great. Like, it's refreshing to see, a projectile weapon used as a means of locomotion.
using your gun to project yourself across the stage.
Yeah, man, that was sweet.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's got this fire extinguisher on her back that she doesn't use.
I mean,
I would
do you have
assume
time
that's
to
like an
pull out a
emergency
fire extinguisher when you're being mugged?
It's
All
on
right.
her back. It's what's probably in her
Yeah, but
floor.
she's being mugged. What are you gonna do? Reach behind you and grab it? No, you're gonna be like, all right, here you go. Then pull out the gun you have secretly hidden.
No, she
because
fired
you're
another
stealing your purse.
bullet. I'm saying you just... Anyways. The fire extinguisher is not important. I just wanted to see a fire extinguisher used. Fire extinguishers are my favorite form of projectile.
That's fair.
That's also a lie.
I would assume the fire extinguisher will rear its head before the comic is over.
It's already over. The first issue.
Yes.
I mean,
Before
seriously.
multiple issues are over.
Next up, we're going to talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 26. Written by Kyle Higgins and illustrated by Daniel D. All right, I'm not even going to try that one. All right.
Daniel D.
Daniel D. something. All right. If you can pronounce it, feel free to pronounce it. I'm not here to pronounce these things. I just want to make sure these people are known. But this is, what, the second issue to Shattered Grid? So far, I think Shattered Grid has been pretty good. That
All
cinematic
the two
trailer.
issues of it.
No, you can't forget about that cinematic trailer.
Yeah, well.
Oh my god. And then there was the Prelude issue.
The Prelude issue was alright.
I want to say that issue 25 of Power Rangers is one of my favorite because Tommy Oliver gets shanked.
Jesus Christ, man, you are the
I mean, it was a
biggest-
super emotional issue because him and Kim just had that really
I don't
nice
care about
date,
the emotion, just
and
my
then
emotions.
he just gets shanked by a future evil version of himself, which I mean is really how it goes when you have a great night.
It's a bad plan because if they just kept the Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver's bumbling ass on that team, they would just kill themselves, and then Laura Dakin can just Draken can
Really?
just
I don't
roll
know.
on,
That's
Like him from
Dracon,
Kim
but,
Possible.
you know.
Draken.
can just roll in and take over. Because Tommy's useless.
More to the point, you are completely forgetting about the fact that Dracon is in fact Tommy Oliver.
Well, yeah, but like this is an alternate universe Tommy Oliver where
Yeah.
he's useful.
Dude, he's just evil.
I mean-
first off, you need to keep your fucking Tommy hatred in
Just
check.
because you
I
team
do
up
not.
with the evil
That's the
witch-
whole point of the show. It's to let the world know how I feel about
Tommy Oliver. And just
that
Tommy
is
Oliver.
that
We're
Zordon was
we're-
wrong.
We're renaming the podcast, guys. It's How Much Do We Hate Tommy Oliver? We're going to tell you every week. Or every 2 weeks.
It's Rangers Forever, comma, Zordon was wrong. Okay?
Hashtag Zordon was wrong.
Hashtag Zordon was wrong. Go to Twipper. Tell him that you know that Zordon made a mistake in demoting the best Ranger,
I
Jason.
mean, he had to
Dude,
go.
Jason is
to
not the best
he's the-
Ranger.
best
Oh
Ranger.
my god,
He
he's
had
totally
to go
not.
to the convention, the Geneva Convention, to save everyone's life,
Not in this
the
universe.
peace conferences.
This universe is perfect.
This
because
universe
there's no
is
such
pretty
thing
great.
as actor contracts.
I mean, if
that
there
is
was,
true.
that'd be some pretty hard writing to do. Just like, oh, I can't do it. The character's contract came up. I can't write them anymore.
I mean, more to the point, what would Jason David Frank have done with the rest of his life if he were not
sell his
Tommy
Christian
Oliver for
apparel earlier?
3 straight decades.
I mean, his Christian apparel line is apparently selling really well.
Jesus Doesn't Tap? No, it isn't. Dude, it's called Jesus Doesn't Tap.
I have 6 Jesus Doesn't Tap
No, you
shirts
don't.
in my closet.
No,
And
first
I
off,
don't.
you hate Tommy Oliver, so you have exactly 0 Jesus Doesn't Tap jerseys.
Tommy Oliver doesn't own Jesus Doesn't.
I'm
If
pretty
anyone
sure
out
he
there
does.
has some Jesus Doesn't Tap
Jason
merch,
David
let us
Frank
know.
owns Jesus Doesn't Tap, and I have no opinion on Jason David Frank as a person.
Really?
I mean, he's probably
He's kind
an
of
asshole
a
'cause
jerk
he's
from
an
what I've
actor.
heard.
And I'm just
I
kind
know
of.
some people who
you
saw
know.
him at conventions, and he's very rude to a lot of people because he knows what he is, and he makes it harder for a lot of people. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Meeting people at conventions, though, especially celebrities at conventions, is obviously meeting people at their absolute worst.
That's not true.
You're
I met-
surrounded
No,
by
meeting me is
like
my
the dark
absolute worst.
reflection of what you do for a living.
No.
Like you've met people at cons, and you're like, I can't believe you like the same things I like. Now imagine if that is your literal entire life, and all you do is go from place to place to place, seeing the dregs that like a fandom has to offer.
Yeah, I know for a fact that if I came up to me at a convention and was just like, "Hey, man, you're a piece of garbage for this thing that you did for a paycheck," I'd be like, "Whoa, dude, why don't you back the fuck off? What do you know? You've never done this thing, you idiot." I says to myself, I says.
I got
Well,
lost.
I don't
in
know
this
about you
conversation.
guys.
What I'm saying is that I don't have any idea how hard it is to act, I assume, even though I'm a professional actor.
No, you're
And
not.
liar.
It's called lying.
More liar.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you need to lie to
I'm
act, but like,
so
you're not
good
an
at
actor
lying.
if you lie a lot. You're just a liar.
I don't know. I think
Have
actors
you been
lie a
paid
lot.
to be to lie to people? No.
Yeah.
Then you're not an actor.
I have been paid to lie to people.
Yeah, I mean.
You know what? Let's get back to Power Rangers right here.
Also, so speaking of which, you should be happy that your boy finally got his gold shield.
Yeah.
It was such a really
And
emotional
cried like
issue.
a man.
It was such an emotional issue because Tommy died. He got shanked and died, and then the Time Force Pink Ranger, the best Time Force Ranger or Pink Ranger ever. I love Jen
that
so
true?
much. She was the leader of the team, and Wes was just there to unlock
I'm going
the code.
through
I don't know.
Pink Rangers. And I'm
SPD,
thinking,
I mean, she was okay.
No, what was the one before that? The one that died and then got taken over by what's his
Kendricks.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Kendricks was
Lost
pretty
Galaxy Pink Ranger who was
Also-
Kendricks, and then what was it? Astronema? No.
Yeah, Astronema.
Oh, yeah, Astronema from
like
Lost from
Streaky,
Space.
Streaky sister.
Andros' sister, one of the worst Red Rangers out there.
Yeah, no, Andros is terrible.
Andros is
I
the
don't
worst.
know. But what's his face? The boring guy from Samurai, the first Red.
I said one of. We all know what's his face from Sam. I don't even remember his name. His sister's so much better. She was there
That's
for like
the
5
segue.
minutes, and now she's here in this issue. She's leading the team instead of what's his face. Who knows?
Also-
and she's so much better. She's there for like 2 panels, same amount of time as she was in the series, and she's already a much better character.
Also, Psycho Pink needs to be involved in that conversation because Psycho Pink is
Oh,
awesome.
Psycho Pink, yeah.
Does that
I'm
count?
so
It is
excited for
bad
the
guy
Psycho
Ranger.
Rangers.
Yeah, but she's a Pink Ranger.
All right,
man.
it says
Hey,
Ranger.
I'm
It
just
says
saying.
Pink and it says Ranger.
Dude.
I'm
Oh,
very
I'm
excited to see where Shattered Grid is leading. It looks like Draken's just like gathering different Ranger powers and forcing his powers to be stronger with his best friend,
Finster 5.
Finster 5. What better combination of second in command than Finster and Alpha 5 into one glorious, horrifying creation?
Was Finster second in command? Because I vaguely remember him making clay things, and I'm pretty sure Goldar was second in command.
I mean, Goldar's a general. He's.
I'm pretty sure that outranks clay making.
I don't know. You need to have an army. So the man who
Professional
makes
monster
your
father.
army should probably be a little higher in the ranks.
I feel like the person who leads that army should be a
And
little
also,
higher.
if we're going by the comics, Finster's a lot more horrifying than Goldar. Like, Goldar's,
Alright.
from a warrior race, and he's just trying to be next to the strongest person in the galaxy. But Finster, he killed for his art. Like, literally. It was horrifying.
I mean,
love
dude
that
sends
issue.
giant monsters into populated cities. Like, you have to...
But that old Power Rangers annual with his origin?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I understand
God.
what you're saying. All I'm saying is, like, his moral compass was kind of skewed to begin with.
I mean,
When you send, like, weird tentacle monsters
when you live
into,
on
like, the
when you
Middle
live on
Age
the
of
moon,
Rome,
something's got to give in the moral area, at least. Or some sort of area.
Also, I really can't wait for the absolutely required scene where all of, like, Dracon's Ranger troops fight all of the gathered Rangers, and the dog guy from SPD is on the
Doggy
cover of
Kruger?
the next issue.
Okay,
Oh.
all right. Whoa,
Doggy
whoa. Hold on. Let's talk about excitement for future issue covers. Based on the one where it's Samurai Red, Lauren,
right,
and
good, Samurai
Jason fighting a bunch of Vendex troops
While
next to
Dr.
the sign for Corinth City with .K right in the cover. Oh my God, RPM is my jam.
RPM is probably one of the better Ranger
It's the
series.
best
It was
one.
so dark
It's the
that
best one.
Saban lost it, and they had to buy back the rights, and then we got Samurai, and that ruined a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but now apparently did they lose the rights or just the rights to the figures?
The rest of the figures,
Hasbro picked it
Hasbro's
up,
picking
yeah.
them up now. Bandai's no longer doing them, which is kind of sad because the last line of like legacy stuff and
Yeah,
the
man.
gold Zeo Ranger stuff.
garbage.
We just got the Zeonizers, and I mean Zeo was not a great series, but those Zeonizers were so extra. I love them.
Zero's the one with the Starface, right?
Yeah, you know,
Starface Frank.
It's
And
the
then
one
when
where,
Jason comes
Jason
back, when
and
your friends
saves
get
the
so
day.
when your friends
that
get
the
so
gold
into
one?
Yeah.
geometry
Yeah.
that you have to come back and save them. Shapes, guys, shapes.
And I just want to say that this backup,
Oh
in
my
Blue
god.
Centurion,
The Blue
Oh,
Centurion.
yeah. Where he goes in and does like the prototypical, you're out of order.
One
Yep.
of the
I'll
best.
need your badge and your gun, weird robot policeman.
One of the weirdest but best, like sixth quote unquote sixth Ranger we ever gotten. That made Turbo worth it, honestly.
No, Magna Defender.
Magna Defender. was
Magna
great.
Defender.
I
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
absolutely
whoa.
love Magna Defender.
Oh, are you going to say Gold Ranger? Because that's weird.
I was going to say Gold Ranger, but not from Zeo. I'm going to say Samurai Gold Ranger.
Samurai Gold
because
Ranger is pretty good.
That man is fabulous and
I mean-
likes to fish. And I think that's funny.
Was that the night one?
No,
No.
that was the dude who had like the Barracuda blade, and he was a fisherman and friends with the Red
Oh, yeah.
Ranger.
Wasn't he the white
He's the...
one?
I
Gold.
don't know. What,
Really?
I think he's gold.
He was gold.
Yeah.
He was definitely
Whatever.
gold.
He was cool, and he was the best part about that show until Lauren showed up. And also, side
No.
note, the Dino Charge Gold Ranger, the Knight,
Yeah.
he's also boss.
You can't forget about their
just
Zordon.
because
though.
that.
The Samurai Master who just lives in the dojo and rides a motorcycle and is a lot better than every single one of those characters.
I mean,
Also,
I don't know.
Vulcan Skull.
The little rat guy
Or
is pretty good.
Vulcan Spike, Skull's nephew or son.
Well, little rat dude.
The little rat, like Gerbil Samurai Master. He's
Well, yeah, no,
Ranger?
he's great, but we're talking about Power Rangers Samurai.
Oh,
We're talking
okay,
about
right,
Ninja
right,
Storm.
right.
Don't,
Ninja
don't get out of the way.
I thought we
here,
were just
Jen.
talking about various Zordons.
Oh, all right. Well, then the
I
best
mean-
Zordon is .K. Because, again, RPM is the best one.
RPM is
RPM is
great.
pretty fantastic.
Hey, I just have to ask a question. When I morph, there's a 60-foot explosion behind me. Should I be worried about that? Like, what if I morph in the kitchen?
Ziggy was a treasure for that show. The first three Rangers already being there and just established, and then we got like super edgy Mad Max, like totally a Mad Max ripoff character
Driving
show
a
up.
Chevelle.
And then
in the
Ziggy
apocalypse.
just shows up, disheveled, suit, dirty, trying to rob Mad Max with a pipe.
I mean,
And
wouldn't
he was just so lighthearted and funny about it. He creates a talent show to find the Green Ranger power and ends up getting it himself, and everyone hates him for it.
Fun
I
fact,
lrid
I
Ziggy.
did rob Mad Max at Pipe Point.
No, you
For the
haven't.
Green Ranger power.
But Shadow Grid, I'm very excited to see where the rest of this is going. I've liked it so far. It's been a very emotional storyline. If you do like Tommy, even if you don't, like Kim also is going through a lot of stuff, and everyone else.
Everyone's going through a lot of stuff because their friend just got stabbed.
Yep, by a future evil version of themselves, and then
That's-
someone from the future came and said, time travel exists, but you can't save your friend.
Yeah, what I don't understand is like, though Tommy is like an alternate timeline guy, like they would all have to spring from one similar timeline. Like,
I
right?
assume
There
we'll
has to
get-
be like a proto Tommy somewhere.
I would assume we'll get like a Universe 1 or Universe like Prime
Yeah.
one, and they'll probably be in all black and white, and they'll have their original red headbands and everything. It'll be really sweet.
Well, so it's
Super grim and gritty, fighting Shredder.
They were talking about alternate timelines, right? And then they were also talking about the linear timeline, which just has all the Rangers symbols on it, and then the morphin grid shattered itself to keep them all separate in separate timelines. So that way, this messed up shattered grid baloney wouldn't fuse into them.
Huh. That's it.
So that's what that is.
Yeah.
So in other words, time travel mumbo jumbo
Yeah.
is confusing, and you just kind of nod your head and agree.
Yep,
And then
portals.
hope at the end they just go, "Well, I'm glad we'll never have to deal with this again." That's the freeze frame.
Right.
You
Yeah.
freeze frame,
Or
you
they
get-
high five. Yeah.
You get the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Power Rangers.
Hey, Sabah!
yeah. Down, down.
Moving on, we have Action Comics number 1000.
Good God.
Happy birthday, Superman! Oh no, that's a public domain now, right? So I can sing happy birthday.
We're not gonna sing Happy Birthday.
I'm
It's
not
public
doing-
domain, but we're not doing that. All right. Just
Never
deal
seen
with it.
anybody so unhappy to not sing happy birthday.
I hate birthdays, but that is a good song.
No,
okay?
it's not. It's
That that song is a banger.
Dude, it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with stupid lyrics.
You're thinking of the ABCs.
I am
The
thinking of the
ABCs is
ABCs.
Twinkle Twinkle
That
Little
is
Star.
exactly true. But at any rate, let's get back to Action Comics.
Yes.
Okay.
Action Comics. It came out exactly 80 years after the first issue. That is insane.
Really?
Superman
Yes.
traveled.
Yes.
80 years
I
into
looked
the
I looked it
future.
up. It was amazing. It's that's why it took a while because
Yeah.
Action Comics 9.99 came out like a month ago.
Yeah, but
And
this
been
one's
doing
also like
bi-weekly.
700
It was like a month and a
pages
half. They
long.
pushed it back.
Yeah, they pushed it back a bit, but yeah, no, this thing is great. All the different variants, all the different artists coming onto this thing.
Not to mention Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh my god, you
doing
got
stuff.
to remember your Bendis splash page because Bendis is coming, guys. If you haven't read any comic coming in the last
That's
like
the most
month,
ridiculous thing
Bendis
ever.
is coming.
Do
I
you
think- is
remember
it-
this Bendis is coming is way better than the last is coming, which was John Romita Jr. is
my
coming,
God.
and I was
Oh,
like, yeah,
sweet
thanks,
Jesus.
thank you.
Thanks for the heads up,
stop.
guys.
Thanks for the warning. I
So, do
appreciate
you
it.
feel like every time you see the
Needed more
Bendis is
squares in
coming,
my life.
Bendis is coming panel, is it a threat? Are they threatening you? Because it feels like a threat when I read
The
it.
one thing that I'm kind of looking forward to and hoping happens is that he just turns Lois Lane into Jessica Jones.
That'd be sweet. I'd be down with that.
I mean, not really, because then it would be like grim and gritty Superman and stuff. But
Well, I mean, we don't need to see Superman that much in Action Comics, really. Come on.
so
It's not
It's
his
all
book
about
anymore.
Lois, the only reporter that I respect.
I mean, that's not true at all.
What? Name another reporter that I respect.
Ben Urich.
Nope.
That's
Lois Lane. Only Lois Lane.
You don't
Dude.
respect Ben Urich.
Okay,
His
okay.
nephew is the
Ben Urich
Hobgoblin
can do whatever
turned
he
Goblin
does,
Knight
but
turned Goblin
Lois
King.
Lane,
Dude.
come on.
Robbie Robertson?
Nope.
Robbie Robertson, man.
It's just-
that man is an
It's
institution.
just Lois Lane.
J. Jonah Jameson. He
Okay,
wants those
he
pictures
is-
of Spider-Man
he
so
is
bad.
the
He's dedicated his
leading-
entire life to that man. He's running a blog now all about Spider-Man. Like, can you believe that?
Have you not read Peter Parker Spectacular at all?
The Peter Parker? No, I have not read it.
It's the best thing Chip Zdarsky's ever done, and I say that including like his. I mean,
Are you talking art?
no, I'm talking
Too?
writing because I
Okay.
hate Chip Zdarsky's writing usually, so it took me a while to get on top.
I mean, we all
Dude,
remember Howard the Duck.
Kaptara, like Howard the Duck, like all of that stuff. I just kind of, it didn't hit with me. But Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man is possibly the best Spider-Man story that's been written in the past decade and a half, like including a Go Down Swinging, which is like the Red Goblin nonsense that's going on right
That's
now.
been pretty good. I
It's
got
been
up
all
with
right. Don't get
Wait,
me wrong.
wait. Decade and a half, you said?
Yes.
I was only half listening.
that. I mean, if we're going back that far, we all can't forget Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
on the list.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Back up, kid.
All right.
But
Superior Spider-Man, also Nick Spencer, Superior Foes.
Ooh, yes.
But
Just that whole time for Spider-Man.
Also,
the
though,
only time I
it was a
cared
good
about
time.
But
Spider-Man.
was a good
the
time.
crux of
Until
the argument
Spider-Gwen
between
came and
those
ruined everything.
two is that Peter Parker Spectacular is a traditional Spidey story. Like, it is the most traditional Spidey story that's existed in the past decade and a half. Superior Spider-Man was great because it was Doc Ock running around and, being a supervillain and everybody like,
Which everyone
I wonder
hated,
what's up with
except for, like,
Spider-Man.
the
That's
people who
kind of
really
weird.
like that story.
Like, I mean, I love Superior Spider-Man, but like, and then when he came back, even leading up to Superior Spider-Man, it was like him working at Horizon Labs, like his life was going great. He was a science dude. And then when he got back, he was like, running Parker Industries and like all of this stuff. And he's basically been Iron Man for the past, like since Peter Parker actual.
Peter Parker Industries.
Yeah,
Parker
got
Industries.
back into the thing. Peter
Prowler
Parker
is Spider-Man.
is like him struggling to make ends meet. Like he's running like the applied sciences division on the Daily Bugle, so like reporting on science jazz, and like trying to pay the bills. Like the cover of issue 1 is him like Supermaning out of his like mustard stained button down shirt with like the spider insignia.
It was very good.
underneath
Actually,
it.
I read issue 1, and I liked it a lot. I liked the how it was paced and the quip between him and Vulture, and then there was just some random person who was just thought both of them are really old, and Spidey's like, "What? I'm not old. He's old," and he just looks at a Vulture, and he's like, you can see death in his face.
So that's what I'm saying. Like Peter Parker Spectacular is great, and it's great because it's a well done traditional Spidey story. And the Bendis Superman, I worry because Superman actual, like not really Action Comics, but
yeah,
Superman
like the Patrick Gleason Thomasai
has
Patrick
been
Thomasai.
stellar. It's been the best it's been.
It's been so good
since before the New 52, since maybe like New Krypton. But like as far as like a traditional Superman story, like it is exactly what the Man of Steel should be. He is like a
loving husband, a father, just trying his best to raise a son that has the same powers as him.
You should
and then
reconsider
Lois Lane.
Well, I mean, that's the reason, you know? Like, that's the reason he doesn't swear. That's the reason why he has to be an example. Like, because he is doing it, provides motivation
Superman,
for literally everything Superman does.
Superman's been a family man since the 80s, and now he's finally has his family. And I'm a little worried Bendis is going to do something with that. But, I mean, we see John in, like, some previews for future things. But I'm still worried about what Bendis is doing.
That's the thing.
Because the new Man of Steel 6-issue weekly series that's coming up, while I'm very excited, also has me a little worried. Because I don't know what Bendis is planning on doing with John and Lois.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing I worry about. Because Jonathan Kent is the heart and soul of the DC Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yep.
Like, he is the crux around which all of the DC Universe rebirth rotates. You know, he's why
Him and Wally.
Superman works, and Superman, and as Superman goes, so goes the DC Universe. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if Superman's terrible, DC's in the toilet. Like, if he's not, or, you know, like, if Superman's terrible, then everybody but Batman is in the toilet.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it's a hard thing. But Action Comics number 1000.
Right.
No matter how
There's a lot of
the
Spider-Man
future
talk
is.
in that segue.
I mean, you can't talk about Superman.
Spider-Man, Superman, what's the difference?
They're both.
Just an eye.
They're both probably some of the biggest heroes.
Don't know
in
how to
both
spell,
their
John.
respective companies.
No, you don't. No, you do not.
But Action Comics number 1000, all the different writers and artists, and just like the flashbacks into his past, and just all the characters coming together. Even Harley and Deathstroke are there. I mean, they got Sideways there. Sideways has been around for like maybe like a day at this point.
3 issues.
Three
exact issues.
Like that's almost
Sideways
like a day.
gets a nod because somebody.
Sideways has been a hero in his timeline for literally like 3 hours. All right. And he's there. He's in the back, sitting right next to Roy Harper, missing his signature trucker hat, and Deathstroke.
Roy Harper needs to not have that trucker hat.
Whoa,
But
whoa,
also,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Don't
be dissing my boy.
Speaking of Roy Harper, though, did you read the most recent Nightwing issue?
Oh, no.
Where he like bops around with Damian Wayne and Roy Harper?
Oh, my God.
It's
I'm
fantastic.
so excited. That looks so good.
And the one right before that was stellar as well. Like, I
Nightwing's
have
been
no
really
idea
good.
what's been going on.
Sam Humphries
Is
is
that
writing
Percy
it.
yet?
No, it's Sam Humphries.
No.
Sam
I think
Humphries has been doing Green Lanterns since the Rebirth #1. And
Oh, that's right.
I like that one a lot. But we can talk about that in a minute. Once we
Right, just finish with Action
finish
Comics.
talking
I'll
about
bring up
Action.
Benjamin
Roy Harper.
Percy.
We'll get to Percy.
If it kills me.
But Action Comics number
White
1000. It's such a monumental issue. As far as I know, this is the only comic that's hit. Like the only superhero comic that's hit 1,000 issues.
It is.
80 years,
by a long
1,000
shot.
issues. Like next up, I think is Detective
Detective.
Comics,
Yeah.
and then was it it's just Spider-Man? I think Spider-Man's next.
No, it'll probably
It's
be
200 issues away. 800's coming out in like a
Yeah,
week.
800's like slot the end
not
of the
Dub
slot
Dubs?
stuff. What?
Wonder
Wouldn't
Woman?
it be Dub Dub?
No.
She was in Sensation Comics, and
Oh,
that hasn't
Sensa-
existed
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, Sensation Comics been dead for a while, but Action Comics 1000. It was such a great, just
A great celebration of
a great
the character
celebration.
itself.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
you brought in every single penciler that's ever like held a pen to a page, and then you have Jim Lee and Brian Michael Bendis like close it out with like the biggest names you got on the roster. Like that's ridiculous.
I mean, I do love me some Jim Lee and like
Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis and Jim Lee teaming up together. Also, just all the different pinup pages in between each of the stories.
The
George
time travel.
Jimenez, which is becoming a really favorite artist of mine at this point. It's just been so good.
Also, there was that really, really soft Oliver Quapel story where, you know, like, I knew him from Thor. Like, he first came to my attention with Thor, and then he did House of M and a bunch of other stuff. And he's one of those pencilers that, like, I follow pretty closely because I just really like the way his stuff looks. But, like, this is, like, the lowest impact or, like, lowest hard line pencils I've seen him do possibly ever. And it just fits exactly well with the story. It's exactly what Superman should be. Seeing the best in everybody, even if they've, like, screwed up. You know, he ties people to the lamppost and, like, you know, was going to go back once they've learned their lesson, but they got down, and then, you know, he, like, helps him fix his truck. Like, it's like a very super simple, like, 4-page story, or, you know, 6 to 8-page story that, like, tells the story of, or, you know, exactly tells you what Superman should be.
Superman is such a great character, and I think the New 52 really did a number on him. But he's back now. They mixel-plicked it out, and like,
and he's in a better place now.
He's such in a better place.
Like, forever, for literally all of the New 52.
He's got his boots back. He's got his trunks back. Like, Superman is back in his dumb costume, and I love it because it fits with everything that is going on with him right now.
Also,
what was your favorite story, Silky, in this?
I mean, I like the Bendis one at the end. I'm very excited to see Bendis reading about like his take on Superman. This is the first take on Superman that we get to see from Bendis, and I mean, Jim Lee's there. Jim Lee is one of my favorite artists, and I just love it.
Everyone's favorite artist.
Jim Lee's not my favorite artist.
Oh, really? I totally didn't guess that you were about to say no to something I said.
Hey, look, hey.
I mean,
okay.
my only problem
right.
with this is that unfortunately we didn't get anything by Darwin Cook.
Well,
That's a real
true.
shame. That's a real shame that we couldn't because
Get at least
imagine
a
like an
pin-up or
anniversary
something, yeah.
issue with Darwin Cook penciling and drawing it. I think it would have been phenomenal.
More to the point, he should have at least, you know, had the one of the variant covers for the Silver Age.
Right?
Yeah,
They
just,
had
like,
one,
dig
like
something
Frank.
up. That'd be
Frank,
great.
was
Right?
it Frank Cho?
I went with the Mike
it was very
Allred one
close.
because I love
the
that
show cover
shitty
is
Silver
pretty
Age.
similar. I mean, I personally liked the Liebermejo cover, but, you know, that's
I got
just what it is.
the Renko cover.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love it. It looks like he's just about to like make out hardcore with this American flag, and like,
Man,
Bro, let me tell you
sometimes Superman
about
can't help
making out
himself,
with
man.
American flags.
I mean,
I'm gonna go home and make out with my American flag
You are
later
not.
because I'm just filled with so much patriotism when I look at Superman.
I mean, I guess that's
This is the greatest country in the world. We got Superman. We got Batman.
moving right along.
so those.
Well,
were...
I didn't get to say which one was my favorite story.
Yeah, what was
Right,
your
sorry.
favorite story? What
Yeah.
was your favorite story?
Well, so it's a toss up, because I mean I gotta give it to my boy Mick Spitlick.
Mitzik Picklick.
Mr. Mixel Pitlick.
Spit Pit Lick. But
Mr.
you know,
Pitlick?
I have to say the Vandal Savage locking Superman in time just as an excuse just to get absolutely gorgeous pinups throughout history of time of Superman. That's definitely one.
That's such a good
Because
one.
you know it's all of it's good. Just like the Superman stopping a train.
That
Could have saved the
That
kid without
scene-
having to move the train out of the way, but he decided to cause lots of property damage
Superman
to this old
hates
train.
trains and the coal industry.
No, see, that's him being more powerful than a locomotive. Like, these are very concrete illustrations.
I didn't get it.
Of things. But, like, the best part about that...
I thought he was faster than a locomotive.
No, he's
more
faster than a
powerful
speeding bullet. He's
he's
more
more
powerful
powerful
than
than a
a,
locomotive.
what was it, a locomotive?
Yeah. But the best part about all of those, like, yes, the art in all of them is stellar, but, like, it's when he is, like, traveling back to the 30s, and he's like, yeah, so I can just punch guys now. Like, it's pretty great. Like, I mean, you know, like, I can walk
Punching's
around.
dope, kid.
Like, it's super awesome. Like, everything's super simple. I can just walk around and punch guys. I can't fly. Like, I can leap over buildings. That's it. Just punch people.
And then, you know, he has birthday cake. And the best part of the whole story, it's Crypto. Because dogs are always the best part of anything.
Crypto hasn't been around in a while. Like, considering the fact that, like, Damian Wayne has, like, an entire bat menagerie. Up to and
Cow, Goliath.
Dude, up to and including a dragon after that, a literal dragon after that Nightwing issue. Literal.
Crypto
dragon.
was in the first part of, what was it, Superman? Or was that? Oh, Superman.
Yeah, it was in Superman.
When he gets eaten by the Eradicator.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then he
Right.
doesn't
Issue.
die because he's a good boy, okay? Crypto is the goodest boy.
But if we're going to be talking about Crypto, let's all remember that Super Sons annual where it was Crypto, Bat Dog, coming together to reform the old Super Pets team to save the pets that were kidnapped around Metropolis and Gotham City.
That's true.
And
Did
they
Bat
pick
Cow
up
show up in that as well?
Batcow
Saved
was
the
there.
day, kid.
Yeah.
They had to go get Streaky and then bring up the complicated past between Crypto and Streaky. Although there was no word said, you could tell there was a lot of heartfelt moments in between there.
There were some.
And then we can who can forget? Even though Plastic Man's been gone for so long, his pet parrot's still kicking around, just hanging out, waiting.
Well, parrots live for way too long a time.
I mean,
think
especially
it's like,
when
what,
you're plastic.
800 years?
Well, I mean, Plastic Man went into egg form, so you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like a parrot.
No.
Full circle.
That's beforehand. Parrots are hatched.
Anyways, all right. Well,
yeah, we should probably go on to something else.
Yeah,
Aside
Action
from-
Comics number 1000 was super great. I'm excited to see what Bendis is going to be doing after this, and it was just it was a really great celebration of Superman.
I just like
Also-
would add one thing. Bizarro number 1.
Bizarro number 1.
Dude, have you been reading the Boy-Zaro
Oh
arc?
my god, the Boy Zorro stuff?
John, you know I don't read.
More to the point, dude, Bizarro is a jerk.
Oh my god.
Literally
he's
just
so-
abandons his son on an exploding planet. Is like, hello, and leaves.
him and Bizarro Lois just throwing down, and it's just, oh my god, it was so heart-wrenching to watch that.
Brings me to my point, which is that the Superman issue that came out this week as well, with the number of which I am not sure of,
45 or something like that.
So very good, and so exactly what a Superman issue should be. It is the Kents cleaning out their, quote-unquote Smallville house. Well, I think it's like Hamilton, Missouri, or
Hamilton, yeah.
whatever it is. But it's like a Superman, Superboy, Lois Lane, all cleaning out their house because they all moved to Metropolis after all of Rebirth happened.
I mean, Superman's got to be Metropolis. I mean, he can have a farm, but he can't stay
Agreed,
there.
but so, it's them reliving all of their memories of growing up and stuff. And then the Flash, pops in for 30 seconds and, moves all their stuff for him. And
Damn
then,
it, Flash! Where's my utensils?
Does he really need that? I mean, Superman is practically or even faster than Flash.
It's because Lois made him promise to not power up. Both
yeah,
Clark
I mean,
and
Lois
John.
and John could have done that move in an hour, maybe.
No, but I mean, the Flash did it in 17 seconds. But they counted.
I mean, nothing beats that time Wally West saved all his friends, the Titans, in 6 seconds across the entire United States.
Yeah.
That was so good. Oh my god, Wally West.
But at any rate, you should totally, if you're looking for in my opinion, one of the best Superman one-shots of the last year, easily. Pick up Action Comics. It's totally great. There's a ton of talent attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, do not forget about Superman. Because, I said, Jonathan Kent is the crux of the entire DC Universe rebirth.
If we're gonna be talking about Superman, I'm gonna take a second to talk about my favorite arc from Superman. It's the 2-issue.
Well, hold on. We should probably put the bong in here.
Yes,
Or
we're gonna.
not what that the bong.
We're gonna
the ding dong, because we're moving into general discussion. Ushin.
Are you about to start rapping? You about to put it on a sick beat?
Well,
Dude. That was piercing.
I
That
apologize.
was really loud. My
Readers
neighbor's gonna
at
be
home.
very mad about this right now. It's worse than motorcycles around.
Well, I mean-
it's springtime. Motorcycles are rampant.
That so ends our discussion of the big ones.
Yes.
Now we can move into
It was
just
mostly-
stuff that we liked from this week.
We spent some time talking about the big ones. We spent a lot of time tangenting off about other books. But Action Comics number 1000, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 26, Skyward number 1, and Domino number 1. If you haven't read them, or if you have read them, enjoy.
In case you forgot.
What
we just talked about. What were you saying about Superman?
Yes. So Superman, I don't remember the issue number, but it was a 2-issue arc.
And what's even the point?
You know what?
The two-shot?
You don't even read.
The Super Friends two-shot?
No. It's the two shot where John, Lois, and Clark get into Winnebago and they travel around to different monuments of like the Civil War U.S. history era. It sounds super boring, but it was really heartfelt because Superman and them just going around and you're seeing different parts of America like wrought by like famine and poverty, and you see like a man who's a veteran who's just being kicked out of a restaurant because he's in a wheelchair, and Superman is Superman, and he tells that the restaurant owners that's not right, and you need to respect these people because they're human beings, and it makes the people feel bad, and then reevaluate their situation because that's what Superman does best.
Superman said I was a jerk. Maybe I'm not such a good person.
I mean, to be fair, if Superman has to, like, come down from, like, saving people out of, like, exploding star systems and tell you you're a jerk, like, you have screwed up royally.
If Superman came in and told me, it was like, hey, son, you're being a real jerk, I think I would just end it right there. But he wouldn't let me, and he'd tell me why I was wrong for doing so.
No, but I would totally reevaluate all of my life decisions.
Thank you.
Like, everything that had led up to this point.
Thank you for buying me this cheeseburger. I really just wanted a cheeseburger, and I was lying to you. I'm super sorry. You're right. I am a jerk. Superman.
But going back to what I was saying, it's the last issue, the last story in the two-shot story, where they go to Gettysburg, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And there's a family there picnicking off the trail, and it's because they had an old relative on his 21st birthday was killed in the war on this field. And it was a massive flood, and his body washed away, and he was never found. So every year they come back to celebrate his birthday until his body is found, until he's able to go to rest. So Superman, being moved by that story, spends the entire night searching the entire ravine and river for that body, wrapping him in an American flag, presenting him on the doorstep of the people with a note attached saying, "He's been gone long enough. It's time for him to rest." And it was such a great issue.
I mean, that's pretty
Superman,
great.
It was the most Superman I've seen Superman in a while, and it's so
Can you
good.
imagine just like opening your door in the morning and you
Like,
see
I wonder why this American flag's here.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no,
This man is dead!
it's a very terrifying thing, but it's sweet and emotional when you put it in perspective.
See,
Thanks for this corpse, Superman.
That specific end of the one that you were talking about with like Fallen Soldier, like that was spectacular.
I loved it.
The rest of that, while required, like every now and again, you got to remind people just how good Superman is.
Yeah,
you know what I
goodest.
mean? Yeah, like the prototype for everything good in every superhero ever. Like that is what Superman is. That's what he's always exemplified. So like, it's nice that they just were like, yeah, you know, like this is what Superman does when he's like bopping around with his family and like. He gets in a Winnie and like drives to Gettysburg.
Gets in a Winnebago
Yeah,
and then
man.
turns to his wife and is like, "Hey, the kid's asleep. You want to make out?" And they go, "Yeah, sure." That's a line. That's a thing that happened. You want to
Oh my
make
God,
out on the
that's
roof?
actually true. That did happen.
You want to make out on the roof? You know it's Smallville, and they go and make out on the roof. But then something happens, and he has to Superman away. Which I'd be very disturbed if there was just like a full-page panel of him and Lois just making out.
Disturbed is not the word I would use.
I mean, making out is fine. Like, as
I
long
don't
as
know,
I
man.
don't get like subjected to Superman's bare ass, I'm probably pretty okay with most of it.
Are you kidding me? He's probably got some tight buns.
I mean, he better.
We don't even have
He's
to
a
see his
superhero.
He's
clothes
got
off.
buns of steel.
We don't even have to see his clothes off for that. You can see it through the costume.
I'm looking at it
I
right
mean,
now.
That's what the trunks are for.
I googled Superman's buns.
No,
I didn't.
Don't Google Superman's buns. You'll be fine with that.
For the love of Jesus.
But Spuds, you wanted to talk about some comic that came out recently, right?
No.
No? Alright, never mind then.
All right.
No, I want to talk about Green Arrow. What a shock! Listeners at home, unless you know me personally, this is probably shocking to you. But everyone else is not, and they're pretending to, so you don't feel so bad about not being on the inside joke. But Green Arrow is my favorite superhero, and I modeled my face after him, as you can clearly see through this radio.
Through the radio station.
Yes. The
well-
jokes, they begin.
So let me just back up. New 52 wise. Garbo for
my
Green
God,
Arrow.
it was so
I mean,
bad.
Except
come
for
on,
like
come on. The
except
Jeff
for like
Lemire
a 4-issue run for Jeff
No, that
Lemire.
was 2 arcs entirely. That was like
It's
8.
a hardcover,
It
but
was like 10
it
issues.
does
right
not
there.
negate how terrible it was.
Oh no, it was so
before
bad.
and after.
The only
So
good thing about the entire arc was Emiko.
Which is doubly sad because the brightest day Green Arrow, where he was just like bopping around air quotes, Sherwood Forest in the middle of Star City.
I actually reread that the other day. It's great.
So good.
It's so good.
And the first issue ends with just like a silhouette of who will be Green Arrow's merry men. And it's got like
Oh my God.
clearly R.I.P. Mia Dearden. And just like a whole bunch of other people that I can't remember off the top of my head because that's the only one that really matters. And guess what? The only one who shows up is
think it's
Entrigan.
No, and it's also, isn't it Lancelot? Like one of the
Yeah,
ghosts is like the ghost of Lancelot de Lac. Yeah, that whole run like could have gone someplace absolutely spectacular, and then just got truncated because Brightest Day was not very good.
Yeah, and the last issue of that series, right before New 52, was so bad. So I was immediately like, okay. It was him stopping a bank robber, and then him saying like some stupid one line like, "I gotta kill now," or something stupid like, I don't remember. Don't read it. It was bad. And then there was that one shot during Flashpoint, which I was super excited for, which was garbage, where he's like on that island and Roy Harper's his bodyguard and then gets shot to death by Cheshire, and it was bad.
Yeah.
And he's like,
God.
I gotta kill now. And then he just like was New 52 Green Arrow, which was bad.
Yep.
Forever. And then Benjamin Percy came on, and I was like, oh, this is readable.
I mean,
because
Ben
I read
Percy
every
did the last
single
arc of the New 52, which
the last. Yeah, it
it
was.
was like the last arc, and it was just one of his stories that he wrote.
I don't care. It was like the first time Green Arrow had been good in 4 years.
Since the series that Kevin Smith started.
Whoa. Green Arrow Black Canary is spectacular.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's all part of that same series. Like Kevin Smith started Quiver, and then it like was ongoing until New 52.
Yeah.
Like that series, the Quiver started series, all of that is fantastic because it's like Quiver, and then it's Green Arrow Roy Harper on the road trip, which is
Archer's
still
Quest.
one of my absolute
good.
favorites.
Hey, Green Arrow, can I just ask you, why you and Green Lantern? Why the boxing gloves? Kid, it just reminds us of the good fights.
It's the fights, my God.
Kyle, who stole the the boxing glove arrow? Oh my God! No, what I'm saying is from issue 1, New 52, Green Arrow, Garbo, Jeff Lemire, Garbo. Then Benjamin Percy came on. I read every single issue of that, just hoping and being let down. And then Benjamin Percy came on. I was like, okay, that's a breath of fresh air. It's okay. Because Emiko was kicking around. Emiko's pretty good.
Canary, he writes Canary very well.
Yes.
We're not on Canary yet, timeline-wise.
All right.
Because
I'll give you your room to breathe.
New 52 is ending. Rebirth comes back. The first issue, he grows back the goatee. Black Canary shows up. They have an argument and fall in love. Emiko's being a badass. I'm like, okay, thanks for pandering to me, Mr. Percy. You're my favorite human being of all time.
I'll just tick off all these boxes. That's
Seriously.
it. Spuds likes these.
It's like they followed you around and like, what do we like about him? Because we were talking about right before like issue 5 or 6, we were talking about Green Arrow's famous chili, and in the next issue, when he's just sitting there making food, and you're like, hey, what are you making? And he goes, chili, and he's just got his dumb face by Otto Schmidt.
You remember the Christmas special where they actually had the recipe for the Queen family chili?
I make that every year.
That does not surprise me at all.
Except it doesn't actually come out as spicy as you like, so I add 4 scoops of cayenne.
The one thing I
Eat
remember...
it, Green Arrow. I like it hot.
The one thing I remember from
I don't
the
think
Queen
they
family
want to
recipe
kill anyone
is
with
that
this.
Martian Manhunter could not eat it because it was too fiery.
He's just dying.
He says, Moons of Mars, it's like fire. That's all I can always remember.
I like Flash with his just like super speed hand, just like fanning himself, and then like Superman over in the corner just blowing on it and it's frozen. Rebirth Green Arrow, Benjamin Percy. I'm like Benjamin Percy. I have a man crush on you. You're a king. So when they're like Benjamin Percy's leaving to write Nightwing, I was like, why is everything terrible forever?
I mean,
everything's always awful.
Nightwing's been really good since.
Not really.
I mean, I love Nightwing. I read the New 52 Nightwing. It wasn't fantastic.
It was okay.
And then they killed him right before he got his own protege.
I mean, to be fair,
good. Nightwing
Grayson Super Spy was awesome.
Yeah,
Grayson Super Spy was great, but I love that like acid drenched Grant Morrison throwback 70s garbage nonsense. But for that, like for like hyper psychedelic, like, you know, prisoner-esque Super Spy visuals, Grayson Super Spy was absolutely amazing. But like the Nightwing stuff in Rebirth, it started off super great, and then it was like back to Bloodhaven, which was amazing because everybody's been waiting.
The back to Bloodhaven, and then going into the Batman and Robin like return, like Grant Morrison's Dick Grayson Batman and Damian Wayne Robin.
I mean, dude,
great.
I'll follow Grant Morrison into hell. If Grant Morrison showed up on acid at your door right now, it was like, hey, let's go walk into the hood. I'd be like, oh,
yeah, all right.
obviously, weird Scottish man. Like, yeah, let's go.
Like
Does he have to be on acid for you to go with him? Or...
I would assume that would be the only reason why he would show up at Alex's door.
I mean,
I was led to you here by the gods.
I mean, dude,
Grant
at one
Morrison
point
showed
he
up and
wrote
said
an
that to me,
entire
I would just follow him
24-page
everywhere.
issue about summoning, about turning John Lennon into a godhead while on acid.
Grant Morrison.
I really
what
like
a writer. I love him so much.
I want to talk about this issue of Green Arrow because I was worried. Because I've been hurt before.
By non-Benjamin Percy.
Issue 39 of Green Arrow. Benjamin Percy's for the first Rebirth issue without Benjamin Percy.
It's Kelly and Lansing, who apparently wrote the Gotham City Garage books.
Oh, which are good.
Are they?
They are. They are shockingly good.
I don't read, John.
They're
Surprising.
very much like a very obvious ploy to like sell more statues.
I mean, obviously.
Which those statues are great, so fine.
The statues are great, the same way that DC Bombshells is. You know what I mean?
Better,
Where it's
better.
yeah, like they are
Zoot Suit
pandering to a
Sinestro?
specific audience, but that does not preclude the fact that they're terrible. Like DC Bombshells has had a few interesting arcs here and there.
I mean,
Gotham
I like the
City
bad
Garage
covers,
is like
that's
this
really
crazy dystopian future where
Okay.
like all girl gangs are like the last all girl biker gangs are like the last bastion of freedom amongst like Lex Luthor's like utopian like clean lines and clean buildings future.
Are you
like,
saying this is just like
Batgirl-
Motor City,
so-
but like with DC?
Yes. So Kara Zor-El, like, Breaks is Commissioner Gordon's adopted daughter, and breaks out of Lex. I think it's like Lextown or something. Breaks out
Lexington?
of like whatever Lex Luthor's thing is, and then finds her way to like the Gotham Garage,
Okay.
where it's like Steel, Silver Banshee. Oh, dude, Black Canary is fighting Green Arrow for leadership of the League of Assassins.
Okay.
She becomes the new Ra's al Ghul.
All right.
Okay, why?
Because she kills Ra's al Ghul
Good.
for leadership of the. So, like,
I mean-
they're fighting to be his second in command, and then they turn. It's a whole
Okay,
deal.
alright.
But at any rate, like, there's a whole mess of super rad stuff around. Jason Todd is like this, like renegade biker, like
Being boring.
Jason Todd's not that
Boring.
He's fine. But at any rate, like Gotham City Garage is actually quite good. So, especially with what they have to work with. Like, can you imagine being given that thing? Like, here's a bunch of drawings that look like they were made to sell toys to like weird man children.
This is
like,
G.I. Joe .5.
Yeah, can you make a cohesive story out of this? Like, imagine being given that task. And at one point, they're like, Wonder Woman pops back up, Big Barda's.
I love me Big Barda.
I know.
We'll get to that later because I'm going to bring that up.
Oh,
Yeah, Mr. Miracle. Oh my God.
But so, and at one point they're like riding through the desert, and like it's Clayface Canyon, so it just like comes alive around them, and they're like,
Hey, who's driving on me?
dude, they're like Akira-ing through like this moving Clayface thing. It's awesome.
Okay, all right, I'm about it. So obviously I didn't read it though because one, I don't read, and two, like I didn't seem like it would be good.
I mean,
so
I agree.
wasn't.
I read everything on the off chance that it's good.
You
I
you
wasn't-
just got to read everything just in case. I try to read everything, but boy howdy, is it expensive?
Tuesday nights are rough, man.
Ooh.
But I was.
I mean, we all can't be monsters who can consume material in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's gross. I
got a superpower, man.
I wasn't. So I wasn't like. I was worried because it wasn't Percy, but I wasn't like terrified because whoever wrote the first arc of 52 Green Arrow. But let me tell you, this issue is as far as it goes for Green Arrow not in Star City, which is best Green Arrow,
Yeah.
or Seattle,
Yeah.
I guess now.
Starling City.
Hey, do not use that name in this house. I'm putting that rule on your house.
Yeah.
I mean, Starling City is okay. because
Shut
we
up.
We can think about the good times.
Five
when,
ever.
when Ray Palmer came and decided, hey, let's rename the city Star City.
Okay, but like, so Green Arrow going on a supply run to bring bread to war-torn.
This issue. Yeah. This issue was really good.
Middle
I was
East.
really impressed by this.
Yeah. His friend dies. He's all sad. Everyone's like, "You're in over your head, Green Arrow." And he's like, "I'm just trying my best." And they're like, "Well, fucking do better. Why are you so bad?" And he's like, "All right, I guess."
It was definitely out of the norm from what we've been like used to for the past like 38 issues with Benjamin Percy.
Did you read it?
Of course, I read it.
I don't know. Don't lie. You don't have to
No,
lie. You
I
can
read most of it.
Okay, so my favorite part is that he finds out that the people that he's fighting is child soldiers. Okay, and if there's anything Green Arrow loves as much as his goatee and chili, it's the children.
Child
Not like
soldiers?
yeah,
Child
he
soldiers.
loves he loves using children as soldiers. He loves kids. Has a bad track record of getting them all murdered.
Let's stay away from Green Arrow Club.
Or getting them,
Hashtag stay away from Green Arrow Club.
Bopping around with Hal.
Yeah, but he punches the addiction out of him. So like,
That is
way
not
to
true. Let's be honest here. Black
we all
Black
read that
Canary
issue.
is the person who cleaned up Roy Harper.
Oh my god.
Seriously.
Green Arrow bounced. He went on a road trip. He was like, "All right, later. Good luck with the heroin, Roy."
I hope you don't die.
And then him and
That's
Hal
exactly
Jordan
what
just had like a
happened.
really good 6 months where they just palled around. And then Black Canary took it upon herself to help this boy be better. And then
Yeah, when
did
Roy
okay.
Harper did nothing except sweat and throw up for 6 months. Like,
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
I mean, don't forget, he was also addicted to just alcohol for a short period of time.
Who, Roy Harper?
Yeah, remember the New 52 Roy Harper?
Yeah. New
Where they
52.
got rid of his
He was,
heroin
yeah,
addict.
he was just a drunk?
That was another thing that Ben Percy brought back.
Yeah, Roy
Heroin.
Harper's heroin? Yeah.
Thank you for bringing me heroin, Benjamin Percy.
Remember, kids, don't do heroin.
Thanks for all the dope.
Would
but-
you say it was the straight dope?
No.
That's,
would not
that's,
say
that's
that.
probably for the best.
So he's fighting. He's like, I don't want to hurt children, so let me just use trick arrows. And he's like, if I just beat up their leader, then maybe they'll disperse. And it turns out their leader's a child. And then it turns out that this child shoots Green Arrow.
I mean, when Green Arrow is off his balance, the first thing you do is just kill him because he's dead constantly. Like, he's always dead. That's a
If
fact.
Green Arrow's not on screen, he's probably dead.
Yeah. I think it was a really great issue, and I'm hoping they can keep up with what they're doing. Because I mean, following Ben Percy after this insane run he had, which was phenomenal, is a big task. But I think these guys have a pretty good handle of what's going on, and if they continue with what Ben Percy did, I think Green Arrow will continue to be as good as it's been.
Hashtag bring back Mia Dearden.
I mean, we have Emiko. Can't you just be satisfied with Emiko?
I am never satisfied because my other hashtag is hashtag bring back Connor Hawk.
All right.
Anyways.
Mr. Miracle. My God, Mr. Miracle. Tom King.
Tom King has just been on fire.
I love Tom King.
Like, he has been
Whoa, who
straight
set Tom
fire.
King on fire?
Well,
No one did.
It's
no one
it's
did.
a figurative fire.
It's a figure.
Meaning that he is writing quite well.
Tom King is the fire?
Tom
He is
King
the fire.
paired with Mitch Gerard's art is just amazing. I absolutely love it. Like when Tom King first took over Batman, I thought, wow, that's gonna be a big shoes to fill after Scott Snyder.
I mean, that
But-
was true, but also, the Gotham and Gotham Girl arc, initially, I was really apprehensive of.
It was, in my opinion, a little weak. But
Yeah.
when we got to the I Am Bane and the
Oh
I
my
Am
God.
Suicide
Oh
stuff,
my God,
that was
it's so
phenomenal.
good. It's so
Absolutely
good.
phenomenal.
And
It felt
currently-
just like reading the Vision, like Marvel's Vision, which was
makes
phenomenal. But
sense.
we're not talking about those books right now. You should read those if you haven't read them. We're talking about Mr. Miracle,
Which
his
is also
latest
stellar.
project.
Yeah, it's super good. So here's my theory, right? So the theory's been kicked around that Mr. Miracle is the anti-life equation,
Yes.
and that's all the scrambles. My theory is that Mr. Miracle's just in a slump, and it's going to end up perfectly happy for him, and he's just overreacting. Stop being a baby, Mr. Miracle.
I mean, it's
Speaking
Tom,
of
it's Tom
babies,
King.
how adorable is
It's
that
Tom
baby?
King. More than likely, he's not just the anti-equation. Like his child is the anti-equation. That's what it really counts. Anti-life equation. That's what it is. His child's gonna be the anti-life equation. But anyway, I think that's what's gonna happen because why would they take the opportunity to like sit there and create this character and like dedicate like 2 or 3 issues to a 12-issue series about a child when so far every issue has been pretty like situated. We talk about one story and then it moves on to another
child.
That's what I said.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, but there's only 12 issues, right?
There's only 12 issues. If it was a like a monthly ongoing series, I wouldn't have been worried. I wouldn't have like given it a second thought.
They're all pretty thick though, you know, like they all have that like rad
Thick
cardboard
with 2
cover.
C's.
Yeah. Yes, like thighs of the same variety. The best part of Mr. Miracle to me has been the pacing of it because it all feels so constrained. Yeah. You know, like it feels like something that you're trying to escape. Yes. Because it's like little bitty panels, like a legion of little bitty panels.
The how it's set up, it's so well done. I think it was a really good idea, and like just the premise of it initially, just him trying to escape the ultimate escape, death. And it's just like that combined with the paneling.
That's been brought up before with like Darkseid and the Anti-Life Equation and you know, Grant Morrison's Final Crisis, like all that sort of stuff, the return of Batman. But like this has just been such a bizarre like aside. You know, like Mr. Miracle, he's a new god, so like you can like screw around with the new gods as much as you want. And you know, the insertion of Darkseid and the Anti-Life Equation and Highfather and Light Ray and all those like jerk offs, you know, like, and I haven't seen Barda in like 3 issues.
What? She's right here.
I mean, she hasn't been like as big.
No, she's been like
she's definitely been Barda.
No,
well, she's on the phone.
She's a phone call,
right.
man. That's what I'm saying.
You're right. Big Barda was in the last one. She was pushing out babies.
Also, the fact that the Furies showed up and was just like there in the hospital room was amazing. And
one day I will use it to kill you, Highfather.
Yeah. And he's like, all right. And he takes the knife. And then he sees his child, umbilical cord around its neck. And he goes, this'll do. And then he just cuts the cord with this hell blade that's supposed to be forged by the fires of
such a weird series. Tom King is an odd individual.
I hope Tom King's okay.
That is a man. That is a man that I would really like to have a discussion with.
Tom King, if you are not okay, please let us know.
Like you and Gail Simone. Like if something's wrong, like feel free to reach out.
looks to be doing all right, man.
Good for Gail Simone.
I'm telling you, Domino 1 is the most lighthearted I've ever seen Gail Simone.
Oh my god!
And I read all of Gail Simone. Like I literally do. Even though I know that it's going to make my heart hurt at the end of it. It's like Jeff Lemire. Like, I am going to feel horrific at the end of this. Like eating a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Oh, God.
Like, this is terrible for me, but you can't stop flipping the page.
Now I want
which
a
is
cheeseburger.
tough with a cheeseburger.
I flip many pages on cheeseburgers. But real quick, can we just talk about the best line in Mr. Miracle?
Mm-hmm. Why,
Are you going to read it, or am I going to have to read it because you don't read?
It's Batman kills babies. The best goddamn line in this entire series.
That's a pretty good one. Although I do really like Booster Gold must die.
Which is not
Batman kills babies. Though. It's better.
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't. But at the same time,
Batman if baby does kill babies.
If the baby was the anti-life equation,
it's canon.
I mean, he does write Batman, so I guess it is canon. He is in control of Batman's fate at the moment. I mean, he's marrying him off, which is great. But
that whole arc has been absolutely stellar.
It's been so good. I love it.
I don't know. I don't read.
Dude,
you don't.
You need to read Batman. If for no other reason.
Reading it in trade, John. And by that I mean
not reading it all.
In like a month or
waiting
two,
for Alex
we'll
to
have
buy
this
it
conversation.
And then stealing it from Alex. Yeah. Okay.
No, I read it singly, so he doesn't get to do that.
You don't buy like the singles and then the trades and then the hardcovers?
I don't have that much money. I go single then hardcover.
That's what I
cut the trades out of the.
No self-control.
This isn't Rat Queens, John.
Oh God. Yeah. No.
I don't buy singles. Like
I mean that's true.
I rent singles.
And on that note, welcome to the second to last segment, Rapid Fire, where we're going to quickly talk about other books that we liked because we don't have a whole lot of time and we don't want to bore the people at home. Sorry, people at home.
Basically, what we're saying is we're going to mention some titles and you should check out all of them. Read everything.
Or not check out. Because like this first one, Asola, written by Brendan Fletcher, who's a hack.
Dude, stop with your Brendan Fletcher hate, man. God. First off, Isola is actually quite good.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I like
Herschel's
Herschel's art a lot, and I think it's going to be a really great
Herschel's
story.
art is great. I'm just saying that he ruined Gotham Academy.
I mean, when you're paired with Becky Cloonan, there's only so much you can do to like add to that story. So they had to like cut it up and then like.
Are you dissing my girl Becky Cloonan?
No, I'm saying that when you have two writers, you have to have a structure to them, and Becky Cloonan can only do so much to
amazing.
work with
Next.
Brendan Fletcher. I feel
Isola,
bad for Becky Cloonan.
You should totally read Isola. Definitely.
Yes.
It was really good. It's Rose again.
Which,
but,
if you haven't read Rose,
With Battle Cat
Rose.
from He-Man.
all right.
But they're all girls. It's awesome.
Alex, name a title.
Oblivion Song number 2, the Kirkman's new series. It's been a really interesting story so far. I mean, he's been so much time in The Walking Dead and Invincible, and now that Invincible's over, seeing him go into a new series.
First off, Invincible is the best Capes and Tights comic that is a beginning, middle, and end that's possibly ever existed. Like, it is absolutely spectacular. It is
really
exactly
need to
what you need
get
out of a
and
Capes and
finish
Tights.
and like start and finish all that because I've seen bits and pieces, but I've only
Like,
heard
it's
good
one of those
about
things.
that.
Like, it starts off super innocuous, and then by the end of the second trade, you're so invested in everything that, like, every, like, minute change is a world-changing event, and every world-changing event is fucking cosmic. Like, Invincible is absolutely spectacular, and has always been the better of the two ongoing Kirkman series.
Yeah.
I actually read Oblivion Song, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I like alternate
wholeheartedly
dimension
agree.
bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a great mix of like crazy time, like alternate dimension stuff, and horrifying zombie monsters, like alternate dimension Cthulhu stuff.
Well, I mean, that's always what Kirkman's been really good at. Has been, like, the small points and the big points, you know? And, like, the comparison between the two. All right, Oblivion Song 2. Totally worthwhile.
Yes, definitely check that one out.
John, give us a rapid fire.
Well, hell, I am going to talk about Sideways because it's right in front of me right now.
Okay.
What do you think about
like
Sideways?
I actually quite do like Sideways. Like, it's, you know, like any of the New Age of Heroes DC comics, it is a Marvel comic that walks like a DC book.
That's my favorite part about all these, is that this is literally just Spider-Man, but from DC.
With
and
teleports.
Terrific.
And let me tell you, I have been craving me some Fantastic Four, which is coming back this summer, and the Terrifics has filled that void for me.
The Terrifics, like, change around is my favorite part. Like, the Terrifics being the Fantastic Four is the reason why it works so well.
It's so good.
Like,
It's so good.
because you have the stretchy guy, but he's Eel O'Brien, and he's like a shady character, you know? You have, like, you have the, like, go off the hook, like, lady who can't control her powers, but it's Phantom Lass, and she, like, can't be normal, you know what I mean? Like, Metamorpho is
Give
like...
him Metamorpho work.
Metamorpho is the,
Just
you know,
there.
like, even-keeled, like, rock, but, like, his life is totally great. Like, he deals with, you know, Simon Stagg and all that nonsense all the time. But, like, you know, he's with Sapphire. Like, his life is perfectly fine.
He's like the Thing body, but with the Johnny Storm lifestyle.
That's what I'm saying. And, like, Phantom Lass is the Johnny Storm body with the Thing lifestyle. The reason why that works, the reason why the Terrifics works, is because it is the Fantastic Four, and you play with those established tropes. Like, that's what I love about the fucking Terrifics. And that's what I like about Sideways, is you have a character within an established universe, which I'm, you know, like, I'm a continuity junkie. Like, that's what I love. I love big universes. I love keeping track of small stories inside big universes. Like, that is exactly what gets me. But Sideways, in and of himself, I mean, the fact that it's, you know, like, done by Rockefort, whose pencils are stellar. Like...
Dan DiDio.
Well, I mean,
Didio.
like,
Whatever.
he's been writing comics forever, but, like, his voice, like, you know, he used to do, like, bullpen bulletins and stuff, you know? Like, there were, like, little 3-section comics that used to pop up in, like, the, you know, mid-90s comics that were about, like, Dan DiDio, like, or Didio, like,
Whatever.
smoking fat cigars.
I've
and,
only
like,
ever read it.
yeah, exactly. Smoking fat cigars and, like, you know, selling his ponytail to pay for Christmas presents and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like these, like, wacky little hijinks things that happened. But, like, his voice for the DC version of Spider-Man that Sideways is, works really well because it's this Silver Age voice in a modern universe, and it just doesn't feel false. And like all of these like little, like ancillary deals where it's like, here's the last 6 pages of stuff, and it's like stepping out with Sideways, like all of that kind of works because the voice is so honest.
Yeah,
the voice is honest and the art is stellar. And, like, the power set is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
I do like the power set. And I like how, like, it's connected to something greater. And then, like, clearly something Jack Kirby, like, dreamt in a fever dream just came up and is like, you're tearing apart the universe.
Let me just say my favorite part of this entire book is the editor's note. Hi, it's the editor again. We just had a little disagreement on what sound was best for a bus hitting a rift. So instead, we decided to let the art speak for itself. You can come up with the noise on your own. KK.
I mean, what does a bus sound like hitting a rift?
Well, I mean, we just established that rifts have invincible edges. True. Like, are you kidding me?
So more than likely, it just probably sounds like a sword
That's a ridiculous concept.
Is someone going to lose an arm?
Invincible edges. Like, they literally put that in canon. They were like, well, yeah, apparently rifts are invincible on the edge.
That way
that's nuts.
He doesn't need a knife anymore. He just creates a little portal and then just slides his carrots across that and just cuts it up. Dude, hopefully some of the carrots don't land in an alternate dimension.
Not only do you have full-on, like, it doesn't appear as though there's, like, a spatial limitation here. So you have full teleport capabilities. Like, organic, inorganic, does not matter. And then all of the things that you use to teleport, which you are in complete control of, are invincible on the edges? Dude's a crazy ninja.
Side note on Crazy Ninja, what a dope costume.
Yeah,
I love that costume.
It's very good.
It's a good one.
It's so good. And the fact that it's like designed by like a cosplay kid.
Oh, is that what that happened?
Yeah. That's what
his best friend like is a cosplay
all right.
person.
Yeah.
So they built all that costume up and everything, and
I thought you meant it was like
so it's very
actually
much
designed by like somebody who.
No, I assume Rocafort just
like
what? How can we be How can we do something Spidey but without being Spidey?
Let's side note rapid fire. What do you think of Curse of Brimstone? We'll see. Issue 1. It was boring.
I want to like DC's Ghost Rider, but I just can't. I will wait to see, because I like the environment, and I like this, like, gutted middle America, like, coal mining town feel of it. And it feels a little bit like Lemire's Royal City or like something like that. Yeah. Grass Kings. Like one of those weird kind of ancillary like Image or Boom or IDW titles where, everything's all like hand painted and whatnot.
Yeah.
Except, like one of the people who's been downtrodden by the horrible machine that is society gets superpowers from the devil. Like, that's interesting to me.
Or a devil. Like, we don't know if it's the devil.
Yeah. I mean,
that's speculation.
Dude, it's probably Necron for all we know. But
more than likely.
So like the environment really interests me. But my God, that first issue was boring.
Yep. Speaking of boring, Immortal Men, what'd you think?
It was really also boring. Awesome. Like for a Jim Lee, I mean, I don't know.
Art's on point.
Yeah, but I don't know what I expected. Like I lived through the beginning of Image. Like I know how this road goes. Like where you take people.
We
who
all
are
remember
really
Wildcats.
Dude, Wildcats was all right, but once like writers started getting involved, and there was like an established history. Like you can't, especially nowadays, you cannot survive just on the strength of your pencils. Like you'll sell issues, but like.
I mean, that's why I picked up that Aquaman art, the Aquaman run with Steven Sajic. I barely read it, but I love that art.
Actually, that arc was pretty good.
It was a solid.
The art was pretty decent.
Where Aquaman's just gorgeous. See Batman.
Yeah, Dolphin and like the Mira got her own spin-off series.
Oh my God, that's been pretty good.
Yeah, the Mira series has been great.
But that's, to be fair, I just love Mira.
Yeah,
with all my heart.
But I mean, this series specifically with like Wrath and or the Return of Ocean Master and all this stuff, like
just
all
been
of these,
being a dad.
Yeah, like all of that is super great. Like I love to see Ocean Master like finally not being a douchebag.
Wow.
I mean, and
not for much longer.
Yeah, and then he left his family and tried to kill Mira. So Like that.
I mean,
didn't
every
really
once in a
work
while,
out
you
so
just
well.
gotta leave your family for long periods of time. Exact a great revenge.
Back
I
to the
mean-
rapid fire.
Right.
Silencer. What do you think of Silencer?
Silencer is fucking terrible.
I can't I didn't even read that issue because I took one look at Romita Jr.'s art and I'm like, man, if this was the 90s, I think I'd be more about this. But like his style hasn't evolved with the time. His style is still just deadline and it's not working out. Sure, you can hit your deadlines, Romita Jr., but maybe you should try to work it out and do something different because
I've been trying
not
very
good.
hard to not hate Romita Jr.'s art,
It's
like
so
off
hard.
the jump. But like every time I see him, any of his characters holding Punisher guns, I am starting to have flashbacks of Liefeld drawing people holding cable guns.
Well, I mean, that's this entire
and then
series.
sometimes
I know.
when he doesn't know how to draw a face, he'll just have weird lines and it looks like cat people.
Also,
Like that entire All-Star Batman run where Harvey, like his non-burned face, just looked
which
like
had
a cat man.
which had an absolutely spectacular story to it.
I mean, Scott Snyder's story was great. I like that
But
story.
like then there was
it
just like
so
weird
hard.
piping for no reason
to
in
look
the
at.
background. Yeah.
It was just so hard to look at, and
Yeah.
I liked it when they switched artists and they did that like arc where they had like a different artist every 2 issues.
Oh, well,
Which
yeah,
is
but
really
that's
good.
because they brought in Tula Lotay,
Tula
who is
Lotay,
absolutely
Jock.
stellar in everything.
Tula
And
Tay and
Jock,
Jock.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, it was so good.
Last but not least, Our Man Hulk. I mean,
Oh, damage.
damage. There we go.
Jesus Christ. I like Tony Daniel, but like, and this most recent issue, Damage 3, I think,
Mhm.
with Poison Ivy,
Yeah.
like that has the beginning of something interesting because it's like him traveling with like illegal laborers
Okay.
to like the fields that they were working, you know, like just trying to get a job and like stay under the radar and stuff. And then it turns out that Poison Ivy is like creating a, you know, like a jungle fucking paradise or whatever the hell it is.
As
She's
she
doing.
Poison Ivy does.
Yeah, you know, like doing Poison Ivy stuff. But like, you know, as they go to like go clear cut the fields, you know, Poison Ivy attacks, and then she's starting to take control of people, and then she starts to take control of Damage. But like, my God, the first 2 issues were the most boring things that I've ever had to slog
Yeah, but it
through
was
ever.
well written. Like I was like so disinterested. They're like, yeah, this is the Hulk. I'm like, dude, there's only one Hulk that I like, and that's she. And so like I wasn't at
Seriously.
all interested, but I couldn't put it down because it was so well
It
written.
was the structure was there. Like who was the writer? It was Tony S. Daniel on art, and
I don't know.
I don't remember. I
well written. Doesn't
It
matter.
was well written. It looked great. It was well written, but it just didn't have the follow up.
You wrote something boring well.
More to the point,
well.
like it doesn't do what the standouts of the New Age of Heroes do. Sideways and Terrifics.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the 2 things that take what is very obviously, you know, like there is not one single human alive who looks at the Terrifics and isn't like, isn't that already a thing? You know, like there's not one.
You can clearly tell these are just like DC's
nobody's
versions
going to be
of, like-
taken aback by the fact that I thought that the Terrifics is a Fantastic Four ripoff. But the reason why the Terrifics works so well is because it plays with those established tropes. The reason why Sideways works well is because it, like, you know, it doesn't try and not be that. It's not, you know, like, I'm a teenage kid, but I'm also, you know, like, prize-winning DJ or whatever, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, like, it's honest. Like, it is completely upfront with what it is, and the artwork is absolutely stellar.
It's
Immortal
so good.
Men is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like, there are 700 different people. The main character is a kid you don't care about who, like, sees people's histories by touching them.
I just want to. I mean, isn't there like kind of like an X-Men who does that in the new Gen X? Series?
Yes!
Ben was the human guy. I
It
don't.
doesn't matter. That
It
power's
doesn't
boring
matter.
and it's been done
It's
before.
Yeah,
we've
whatever.
seen that power and it's
Gloves
we've already
McGee.
seen-
He
yeah.
was like dating not Quentin Quire. But at any rate, like the reason why the New Age of Heroes has been so disheartening is because like I was curious to see what DC's version of the Hulk was, and I was curious to see what DC's version of Spider-Man was, and like the reason why some of them work and some of them don't is because like either you like pay attention to the fact that you are like very obviously ripping off Marvel stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or like that whole like mutual rip off stuff has gone on for literally ever.
It's
like
it's
it
just,
does
Look,
not
man,
matter.
the thing that I like about DC is multiverses. So, like, if you're gonna give me a multiverse that is parallel to Marvel, I'm about it. So, like,
That already exists. I think.
well,
it's-
yeah, but you.
I think it's 63 is the Ultimates one.
Yeah.
But
But
like,
I
point
anyway,
I could be
remains-
wrong there, but yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. A lot of those stories just don't feel like they need to be really told because after like 60, 70 years, Bruce Banner Hulk storyline is done. They're trying hard to give him new life, but I feel like the character is just done. Like, what
And
else
it's-
can you do with
it's
that character?
doubled by the fact that Weapon H is
Just Hulk with adamantium claws.
no Weapon H is damaged. Like that is already being done by the company that owns both the Hulk and Wolverine. Like it's already done. Like currently coming out right now. It's also on
God.
issue 3. Like it's already out. It
She-Hulk's
drives me
really
nuts,
good.
man.
I just want to point that out.
We can talk about She-Hulk later, but pretty much the new age of DC heroes, the stars are Sideways and the Terrifics. If you haven't read any of those yet, definitely check them out.
Curse of
And-
Brimstone might get there.
I
It
check
has-
out
it
New
has
Challenges
potential.
is still coming out, so we
New
know-
Oh my god,
Challengers-
new Challengers! I'm hyped up.
That's gonna be
I
great.
love
I'm so
Challengers
excited.
of the Unknown. Like Challengers of the Unknown was a, like a Fantastic Four with no powers ripoff. Anyway,
Yeah, I love them in DC's New Frontier. That was so good.
that's neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
like,
Whoa.
there was the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale done Challengers of the Unknown
yeah.
Must Die,
Mhm.
which where like they travel to foreign lands and like pick up sorcery and like like it just gets way off the rails.
Who did it?
Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
No, I meant it's Jeff Loeb's story. So who is the one who done it?
I think it's Rocky Dennis. But anyways, so like the new and there's been like weird 3-issue or 3-page previews
Yeah.
in other stuff, and like the lineup looks to be interesting.
Yeah.
So like I will watch that because at the very least, it does not seem like a direct Marvel ripoff at the moment.
Very true.
We'll
It's an old DC title coming back. That's why like the Terrifics seemed great, but at the same time that was clearly a Marvel ripoff. But with DC's like DC.
Terrifics wasn't an old DC title.
No, I'm not talking about the old DC title. I'm talking about the characters. All the
Oh.
characters in the Terrifics are old DC characters that they brought back and then Marvel ripped.
I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to see Mr.
Different
Terrific
I
come
love
back.
Mr. Terrific.
I'm happy
I'm very
to see
excited to see
Phantom
Fair
Blast.
Play.
I'm happy to see Phantom Blast come back, if for no other reason than it implies that the rest of the Legion of Superheroes is out there.
We're getting them. They're coming.
I know Wildfire already.
Saturn Girl is locked in an insane asylum somewhere.
I know
And she's coming back.
Wildfire is. It looks like he's coming back in the a ongoing Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps with the Dark Stars and all that. Like that looks like I don't know about
There's
you guys,
essentially like a
but it
weird-
looks like Wildfire to me.
There's a, what was it? Bouncing lad or whatever.
Bouncing Boy.
Bouncing Boy. There's a character like him coming up in the new Teen Titans run, so that could be like a prelude to that.
No. The world is
But-
better without Bouncing Boy.
But
Bouncing
what
Boy.
about
Regardless.
Matter Eater Lad?
Matter Eater Lad is okay.
Back to
He
rapid
eats
fire.
matter.
Regardless.
I know it's the best superpower, other than
This rapid fire was very much not rapid, but at the same time,
Yeah,
there's a lot of great books out there right now. You should definitely take a look at.
There
And
were
even
some
if
jams.
I
even
think
if
we
you
can talk
don't
about
even if you don't agree
how
with
good
some of the stuff
Eternity
we said,
Girl is.
Eternity Girl is great.
Yeah, it's good. Anyways, moving on.
All right.
Just kidding.
Where are we now?
I want to talk about how good Eternity Girl is,
Okay.
only because there's nothing I love more than someone who can't die.
I mean,
And
the
the
new-
only way they can commit suicide is by ending reality.
I mean, it's very
Makes
much what I thought Shade the Changing Girl would have been, like the tone, and it feels like a perfect fit for the young animal imprint.
Really? I mean, I like Shade the Changing Woman.
I like the
as
Shade the
well.
Changing Girl, but when
That
I
was
first
one of my
when I
favorites.
first picked it up
Well,
without
Shade
reading
the Changing
anything,
Woman, like the new one? I thought Shade the
Shade
Changing
Changing Woman was great.
is
I like
great.
that.
Current.
I like that. But what
Not
I'm
first issue.
but I'm
Oh,
saying
okay,
like when
yeah, all right, sorry.
When I
I
first-
wasn't sure like what we were talking
no,
about.
no,
there.
We're talking about the same thing, Cat.
basically what I'm saying is when I first picked up Shade the Changing Girl, without reading anything into it, I thought it was gonna feel like Eternity Girl. I thought it was gonna be very
Okay.
contemplative
All right.
and very self-reflective because they're talking about like Rack Shade and his poetry. But then it got all crazy weird madness, and I liked it. Eternity Girl gave me what I thought I was gonna get from Shade the Changing Girl, Exactly.
I mean,
And
also
it's so well and so good. So good.
also it's Rita Farr.
Yeah.
Like, Rita Farr hasn't been mentioned since Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Seriously, oh my god.
Like, Elastigirl?
And she's back.
I know.
Rita
That's
Farr's
what I'm
back.
saying.
Rita Farr's back.
Like,
to Doom Patrol.
as a result of Milk Wars.
And
like-
Robot Man is down man. Not the band. Not the band.
Just man.
just man. No robots, just man.
Cliff's-
I also really like the concept that it's based off of a story that was rebooted too many times, and that's why she's furious.
Yeah.
That's a great. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like theme.
Yeah.
It's a great theme.
Who's writing that anyway? Visagio?
Magdalene Visagio. Don't
Yeah.
cut that out because
I know
butchered
her.
it.
She
I have no idea. Who the
she
hell that
did.
is.
I'm pretty sure this is the person who does Kim and Kim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this
Dude.
is the writer for Kim and Kim.
I was just talking about how awesome Kim and Kim was the other day. Oh,
Kim and Kim
shit.
is such a great
Kim and
series.
Kim is coming out with a new series called Oh Shit, It's Kim and Kim.
Oh shit, it's Kim and Kim.
That's a good title.
I know, it's great.
Such a great series. But anyway, Eternity Girl is exactly what I expected out of a Young Animal book, and I'm very excited to see where the rest of it goes.
And I mean, if you need something to fill the time in between Doom Patrol issues, which
Oh my
are
God.
going to take a while,
Like,
then Eternity Girl will definitely fill that like vault of weird that you're looking for.
Well, that leads us perfectly into our final segment.
Which is that there are new issues upcoming, and Doom Patrol is one of them.
Doom Patrol number 11 hit shelves this Wednesday, April 25th, along with some other great titles from different companies. We have
All four of you can be excited.
yes.
I'm being
Not
very
you, though.
generous.
Damnation, Doctor Strange Damnation number 4, which is the last issue in the Damnation run. That
the
comes
last
out.
singular issue,
The last
not
singular.
the last tie-in issue.
Yeah.
There'll be a weird like epilogue,
Yeah.
like there always is.
Which will probably be boring.
But all of
epilogues are
the,
lame.
I feel like I have enjoyed the Damnation like tie-ins almost as much as I have enjoyed the actual ongoing series, because like the Doctor Strange like ancillary stuff has been great, but like my God, the Iron Fist side series has been like a fine wine. Like it has been stellar.
I don't know. I
That's
think
a pretty good
If I have
recommendation.
any problem with Damnation, it's the fact that it made me read Ghost Rider, and I don't like anything that makes me read Ghost Rider. Even though that wasn't half bad.
That was a great
But
issue.
I'm mad
though.
because I had to read Ghost Rider.
Dude,
It's full circle.
dude, Jason Aaron wrote Ghost Rider
Like-
for a while.
Like
Are you
Mr.
trying to
Terrific and
say-
an egg and a parrot.
You trying to say something bad about Jason Aaron?
I'm trying to say something bad about Ghost Rider.
Before
I'll fight Jason Aaron. Bring it on, Jason
No,
Aaron.
no.
He's
We're
from
not
the South,
doing that.
they'll
No
kill him.
declaration. no declarations here. Because more than likely, Jason Aaron will show up right next to Grant Morrison, and they're gonna
This
just
Sunday.
trip and punch us.
Spuds versus Jason Aaron in the squared circle. We're going downtown. I'm taking you down. And when you
On the off
There's a
chance you're
wrestling
listening,
joke here.
Jason Aaron, please don't fight Spudsy.
please fight me.
Please, I
I
would
love
much-
your work, Jason Aaron. Now let's duke it out.
Anyway, back to
Stop
titles
trying
coming.
to fight authors.
We're changing the name of the podcast, guys. It's calling out authors.
Spuds fights Brendan Fletcher on every panel.
All right. So books also coming out. Hunt for Wolverine #1. That's starting up. Wolverine's back, and he came back with the Space Stone. And we
Oh,
gotta
Well,
figure
then
out
he
what that's gonna-
immediately gave it away to Black Widow.
Black
who's
Widow.
totally not dead anymore.
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
Boring widow.
She was literally dead for an issue.
I know.
A half an issue.
Yeah, no, she came back in that issue.
No, that's not
We'll talk
true.
I don't
about
care. I hate Black Widow. She's boring.
we'll talk about
You
Secret
just hate
Empire at
Scarlet
another.
I'll fight you, Black Widow.
We'll talk
Next
about.
weekend, Spuds and Black Widow in the squared circle.
We have to buy a squared
And
circle. now.
Jason Aaron.
We'll talk about
Also
Secret
Brandon
Empire at another
Fletcher.
point. Flash number 45. Wally West. Secret is revealed, and Iris West finds out. That whole thing is coming back.
I feel like almost literally anything that involves Wally West right now, it's really hard for me to tear my eyes away from how awesome his costume is.
Oh
It's
my
so
god.
good.
It's
Like,
the best
it's
Flash
so
costume.
Silver and red
fantastic.
looks
It's
so
the
good.
best
Yeah.
Flash
Never
costume,
thought it.
hands down.
Dude,
I don't
it's
like
got like
silver as a color.
It's got the
It's got the
solo
classic
open
open head.
crown, the
It's
Liefeld
so
open crown. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good.
So, I mean, you know, like, Iris West, like I'm totally invested in her, kind of, but like also,
it's something that's been we've been waiting for since Rebirth #1.
Well, I mean, also Eobard Thawne, like
That too.
also like Wake Me Up When Linda Park comes into play.
I mean,
like
Linda Park has been like here and there, and it's just,
I know.
it's a weird thing.
But
It's a
that's what I'm
weird
saying.
thing.
Like Iris West is his, like mom or grandma, or, I don't even know.
Aunt.
But like Linda Park is like the entire motivation for Wally West. Like that's what I care about. I don't care about his aunt.
I feel like Linda Park will come in at once more people start remembering Wally. Like I think after the events of Doomsday Clock, we'll start seeing more Linda Park back because she might be getting.
I'd be
back.
surprised if Wally West lives through Doomsday Clock.
We'll see.
I'd be surprised if
Dr.
Doomsday Clock
Manhattan
ever
will probably
wraps
just
up.
like remove him from
Oh
the
my
timeline
God.
again.
You're just saying that because they've already
Every
delayed it
other
to every other month.
What
I
are you
know.
doing?
I
Give
know.
me more Doomsday Clock. It's been good.
It's been
great.
really good.
It's been great.
Jeff Johns,
But-
if you're
I wouldn't
listening,
be-
I'll fight you. Give me more Doomsday Clock.
Jeff Johns, please don't do that.
I love you, Jeff Johns.
The Terrifics #3, as we were talking about the Terrifics a while, that comes out this Wednesday as well.
I need more
Seriously.
Fantastic Four.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're
I
just
mean,
gotta,
need Terrifics.
we just gotta wait
Like,
till the
I
summer,
don't care
man.
if I have to fill that void with DC. Like I
It's
really
coming
don't.
back. 2 and 1.
I
Been
know.
pretty solid. Even though,
Marvel 2-in-1. Also Chip Zdarsky written.
yeah,
I know.
his
Surprising.
thing is so good. Let me tell you.
It's
I'm
so
talking about
bizarre.
the thing.
Yeah.
All you brimpers out there, I'm talking about Chip Zdarsky's The Thing, not Chip Zdarsky's Thing. Although,
If you want to
Giant
talk about
Hard
that,
Rock,
just
man.
just read Sex Criminals. I'm sure there's a cover somewhere that shows it.
brimpers beware.
But
Chip
anyway,
Zdarsky's thing.
speaking of Image, Saga #51 comes out this week.
My God.
Saga has been phenomenal. I don't think I've ever read a bad issue of Saga.
I read Saga in trade
best
stuff.
comic on the stand.
Seriously.
Period.
If
Like,
you
I'll
are not
I'll
reading
put Saga
Saga,
up against literally anything.
We
on
gotta
the
stop
stand
talking
right
about Saga. I read and trade.
now. I do too.
we're not going to talk about Saga at this point.
That's why
right
I was
now.
just trying
But
to
if
like
you
bring
out
it out
there,
more general.
I'm all right with spoiling everything for you guys at home. You know what you're signing up for. But if you spoil Saga for me, I'll fight you.
well, you see, Robot 4 is there, and you better believe he's got a plan. But anyway, if you're not reading Saga, read Saga. It's seriously the best
Seriously,
book
like
on the
if you're
shelves
not
right
reading
now.
Saga and you're listening to this podcast, you have made poor decisions.
I will now
Like, go read Saga
I will
right now.
I will now give my Sludge McGee guarantee that I always give every time I sell Saga, and that is if you do not like, if you read the first trade of Saga and do not like it, I will eat my own shoe. And by that I mean I will literally eat my own shoe.
He'll do
I'll
it.
do it
He'll do it.
because you will love it. And if you don't love it, then you're lying to me just to get me to eat my shoe. And I'll do it just to prove how much I love Saga.
In the squared circle.
In the squared circle. This Sunday, I'll fucking eat my shoe.
So yeah, that's it, guys. Hunt for Wolverine #1, Doctor Strange Damnation #4, Terrifics #3, Doom Patrol #11, and Saga #51. Those are some big titles to look out for. Maybe we'll talk about them next time. Who knows? But right now, if you're not reading any of them, or if you're looking forward to any of them, pick them up. Check it out. Check your local comic stores and support local comic stores.
Also, go read Saga.
Also read Saga.
Also
like,
read Saga.
Saga, then local comic stores.
I
That's
think-
that's the order.
I think
mean,
if there's
like,
anything
you know.
we could agree on, it's Saga.
Like, if you need to rob people to go read Saga, go read Saga.
Also, I endorse robbing people. Just
Comic
don't.
dividers do not endorse robbing people.
Word.
And now we're gonna get to the outro part. So play some music.
Hey!
Well, that has been the first episode of Comic Dividers. I hope you weren't too bored with our disorganization. So, thanks for listening to us. Does anybody want to say what they learned from this session about comic books? Moral, John. What's your moral? Give me a moral of the story.
My moral is that everybody should read more Warren Ellis.
I don't know if did we talk about Warren Ellis?
Not once.
I'm very shocked that we didn't bring up Warren Ellis once. Grant Morrison was mentioned several times, but Warren Ellis not once.
I
Side
know.
note: I'm not shocked that's your moral. Alex,
Nope.
what's your moral of this story?
I think that if you're gonna host a podcast, make sure that you read everything beforehand.
Is that a knock on me because I refuse to read books?
Yes, it is. Read your books.
Reading
your
is for
books.
nerds. Reading is for nerds.
Okay.
My moral of the story is that Superman is perfect, and we should all aspire to be Superman.
True.
Unless we want to be Lex Luthor's, because
I don't
some
know,
of us
man.
can't grow hair, and you have to learn how to look
Jeff
good.
Johns Justice
Also,
League Super
how
Lex.
good was that Superman Lex Luthor like vignette in Action Comics 1000,
Oh.
where they're just talking
Oh,
at the
fifth
planetarium?
season?
Oh my God,
Scott
it's great.
Snyder? Oh,
Yes,
it's so good.
It's great. Sorry.
I just love Lex Luthor.
I love like the current Lex Luthor stuff, but anyway, we'll get to that later.
I'm gonna be so mad when he's not a good guy anymore.
I know it's so bad. Super Lex was so interesting, and I want to figure
no,
that so
he
bad.
wasn't. Like he was.
Shut up, John.
He
You don't get
had
to
the
destroy my
potential
dreams.
to be interesting, and then he was just
You're
never
right.
interesting.
I think I'm just remembering Jeff Johns' Super Lex
Yeah,
before he became
no.
like Super Lex.
The
hear
moral,
you.
the truest moral of the story is that Super Lex could have been great, but wasn't.
And at one point, he was Darkseid, and that should have been like the beginning of something absolutely spectacular. Could have brought in all of the new gods. Could have had Super Lex ruling Apocalypse. No,
Don't worry.
none of it.
Darkseid will be back in Justice League Odyssey. where
Darkseid's
it teams
always-
up.
We're getting
Back.
unfocused again. We're trying to say goodbye.
All right, guys.
John, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Read more Warren Ellis.
Alex, say goodbye.
All right, guys. See you later, and we'll see you again in like 2 weeks.
I said just say goodbye.
We're gonna see you in 2 weeks.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bad bye.